$5.11, that is the gap between what silver costs right now in the Western spot market and what physical buyers in Shanghai paid for the exact same metal this morning. Western spot silver hit $66.69. Shanghai was sitting at $71.8, same metal, same Monday morning, 7.6% apart. And while institutional traders in the US were hitting the sell button on paper contracts, Chinese buyers were quietly paying a security of supply premium that the COMEX price has not come close to reflecting. What that split tells us about where silver goes next and what it means if you are sitting at home holding physical right now is exactly what this video is about. My name is John, 15 years in FX and commodity markets before I ever picked up a camera, and I left that world because I believe the people watching their savings from home deserve the same level of analysis the institutions were getting. Everything I show you today comes from publicly available sources, and I will name every one as we go. If this kind of calm, data-first breakdown is what you have been looking for, hit the like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people trying to make sense of these moves. Last week, I told you to watch the COMEX registered silver inventory figure, specifically whether it dropped below the threshold I flagged as the squeeze trigger level, and that accountability is the foundation of everything we do on this channel. Today, you are going to understand exactly why Western and Eastern silver prices have split by over 7%, what a COMEX vault drain actually looks like in real data versus how it gets hyped online, and how to use the 3 lanes framework this week to separate genuine squeeze risk from paper market noise. Silver spot ZAG or USD is sitting at $66.69 as of Monday morning, and the move down was triggered by the US dollar index climbing toward 100, a level that has historically acted as a ceiling on dollar-denominated commodity prices because a stronger dollar makes those commodities more expensive for foreign buyers. On paper, the DXY approaching 100 is not a small thing. That is a psychologically significant level that algorithmic traders have programmed responses around, and when it gets there you see automatic selling in silver and gold futures, which is exactly what happened. At the exact same moment Western paper traders were selling, the Shanghai Futures Exchange was pricing silver at $71.8, a gap of $5.11, representing a 7.6% premium. For context, a premium of 1–2% between Eastern and Western silver prices is considered normal market noise. 3% starts to get attention, and 7.6% is the kind of number that stops experienced traders mid-sentence. Shanghai premiums in silver are not a pure physical demand signal in isolation. Import tariffs, local financing costs, Chinese domestic market structure, and currency effects all contribute to the spread, and the Silver Institute has documented in multiple reports how Chinese silver pricing can reflect structural domestic factors. Separate from pure scarcity, I am not dismissing the premium. A 7.6% gap is real and significant. I am saying you deserve to understand what is in it before you make a decision based on it. With that caveat on the table, here is what is also true. Industrial demand in China for silver is not slowing down, with solar panel manufacturing consuming a substantial and growing share of annual silver supply concentrated heavily in China, and electric vehicle production scaling at a pace Western supply forecasts have consistently underestimated. When Chinese industrial buyers are paying a security of supply premium, it is not always because they cannot get silver. Sometimes it is because they cannot afford the risk of not having it, and that distinction matters enormously for how you interpret this data. Think of it like the NHS supply chain in the UK. The NHS does not pay spot market price for critical medical supplies. It pays a contract premium for guaranteed delivery, not because the supplies do not exist somewhere in the world, but because the cost of not having them on the day you need them is catastrophic. Chinese solar manufacturers are increasingly treating silver the same way. They will pay above Western spot to lock in supply because the downside of a production halt is worse than the premium cost, and that is structural demand that does not disappear because the DXY ticked up. The CME Group publishes warehouse inventory reports that break silver holdings into 2 categories: registered silver, which has been certified and is available for delivery against futures contracts, and eligible silver, which is sitting in approved vaults but not yet registered for delivery. The squeeze scenario goes like this. If registered inventory falls far enough and enough futures contracts demand physical delivery simultaneously, the COMEX cannot make good on all its paper obligations. Registered silver inventory has been on a declining trend over recent months according to the CME warehouse reports, with withdrawals outpacing deposits in the registered category, and meanwhile the Shanghai Futures Exchange is simultaneously showing a premium that suggests Asian buyers are pulling on the physical market from the other side. Imagine a rope being pulled from both ends, the East pulling physical supply toward Asia, Western futures contracts theoretically backed by vaults that are getting thinner. That tension does not resolve quietly. If you know someone watching their silver position right now and trying to understand why the paper price and the physical reality feel so different, share this video with them, because this breakdown exists for exactly that conversation. The Silver Institute has projected a physical silver deficit for multiple consecutive years, a deficit meaning the world is consuming more silver than it is mining and recycling. A deficit is not a countdown timer, it is more like gravity, which does not tell you the exact day something falls but tells you the direction of the pressure. And if that pressure builds for multiple years, the system becomes more sensitive to shocks. The shock we are watching this week, a 7.6% east-west pricing split, is exactly the kind of event that a multi-year deficit environment makes more probable and more severe. SIP holders in the UK who hold silver ETFs or physical silver need to understand that the price they see quoted on Western Spot is increasingly disconnected from what physical metal is actually clearing at on the other side of the world, and if the LBMFX starts to move toward the Shanghai price rather than the other way around, that is a significant signal. De-dollarization and fiscal expansion in the U.S. The Congressional Budget Office long-term projections make this math visible are the structural tailwinds. The DXY at 100 is a short-term headwind, know the difference. Roughly half of all silver consumed annually goes into industrial applications. It never comes back from dispersed in tiny amounts across solar panels, EV components, semiconductors, medical devices, and industrial contacts, rarely economically viable to recover. Unlike gold, which is largely recycled and stays in the system, a significant portion of silver supply is permanently consumed every year, and the Silver Institute's data on solar silver consumption shows a clear upward trend in industrial offtake that has not been met by proportional increases in mine supply. UK viewers, the North Sea energy transition and the UK government's solar rollout commitments both contribute to this demand picture on a global basis. Britain is not a bystander in the silver demand story, it is a participant. Lane 1, the paper market, Western spot silver at $66.69, DXY approaching 100 acting as a mechanical ceiling. Institutional positioning in the U.S. currently defensive according to the most recent CFTC commitment of traders data, with margin call risk elevated if the DXY breaks and holds above 100.5. Lane to the physical market, Shanghai premium at 7.6%, $5.11 over Western spot with COMEX registered inventory on a declining trend per CME warehouse reports, Royal Mint UK showing elevated retail demand, and physical buyers in China paying a security of supply premium that paper markets have not caught. Up to Lane 3 macro, DXY near 100 as a short-term headwind, Silver Institute multi-year deficit projections as a structural tailwind, Congressional Budget Office fiscal math as long-term dollar pressure, and industrial demand from solar and EV sectors that is structural and non-discretionary. The paper lane is pointing down while the physical and macro lanes are pointing in a different direction, and that divergence between lanes is itself a signal, telling you this is a market under tension, not a market in equilibrium. When tension resolves in these markets, it tends to resolve fast. Here is the one thing I am personally watching this week, the COMEX registered silver inventory number, specifically whether it drops below the level flagged in the most recent CME warehouse report as representing a meaningful contraction from recent norms. If registered inventory falls another meaningful notch this week while the Shanghai premium holds above 5%, that is the combination that historically precedes the most significant squeeze-type moves in this market. If registered inventory stabilizes or rises while the Shanghai premium compresses, the tension is releasing without a spike and the paper sellers were right this time. Watch both numbers together, neither one alone tells the full story. This is my one call for the week, John FX Insider. On record, I will be back next video to tell you exactly what happened. No edits, no excuses. For the optimistic picture, silver needs to hold the $65 structural support level, and if it does and the Shanghai premium stays wide, arbitrage pressure accelerates. Withdrawal of eligible silver from COMEX vaults to satisfy Asian demand. Physical holders in that scenario are sitting on metal the paper market has underpriced, and the correction when it comes tends to be sharp for the cautious picture. If the DXY breaks and holds above 100.5, the next session low to watch is $64.82. A sustained move through that level brings $63 into view as the next psychological floor, and the honest part is that COMEX squeeze narratives have been circulating in the silver community for years. Not every premium divergence leads to a squeeze. Some resolve quietly as arbitrage flows normalize without Western prices needing to spike. Both outcomes are genuinely possible right now. Your job is not to pick one and emotionally commit. Your job is to watch which conditions are actually developing in real time, and the market will tell you. Before we close, everything in this video is educational content based on publicly available information. Currency Insider does not provide financial advice, investment advice, tax advice, or legal advice. Nothing here should be construed as a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any asset, and past market behavior is not a guarantee of future results. Always consult a qualified financial professional before making investment decisions. That disclaimer is not a formality, it matters. If you got value from this today, the like button takes 1 second and genuinely helps this channel reach people navigating these markets without all the noise. I want 2 honest answers, not just a thumbs up. First, are you currently holding physical silver, and if so, are you seeing premiums at your local dealer or online that feel disconnected from the Western spot price? Tell me the gap you are seeing, US or UK, it does not matter. Second, Do you think the COMEX registered inventory continues to fall this week, or does it stabilize? Subscribe next week. We are going deeper into the Silver Institute's annual supply and demand report, showing you exactly how to read the deficit data and what it actually means for price, because most people misread it completely and that misreading costs them. And if someone in your life is watching their silver stack right now, feeling confused about why the price on their screen does not match what dealers are charging, share this with them. This is Currency Insider. Know the market, protect your currency.